Behold the latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rob Suzon every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Six Bangsamoro Islamic Freedom Fighter members surrender in Sultan Kudarat. Joint military exercises Balikatan 40-2025 intensifies in Zambales. DILG says free legal aid will boost the morale of military and uniformed personnel. Bulusan volcano in Sorsogon erupts. Good day, everyone, as well as our troops at Camp Emilio Aguinaldo, Quezon City. Today is Monday, April 28th, and we will bring you the latest news from the armed forces and other information around the Philippines. In behalf of Rof Suzon, this is Jhai Simbajon for AFP Community News.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
In a major boost to the government's peace efforts, 6 members of the Bangsamoro Islamic Freedom Fighters have laid down their arms in Sultan Kudarat. The former rebels surrendered to the 2nd Mechanized Infantry Battalion during a formal presentation held at Camp Leono, Barangay Kalandagan, Tacorong City. Recovered from the group were high-powered firearms, including grenade launchers, a homemade sniper rifle, and an RPG. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Colonel Felmax Lodriguito Jr., commander of the 2nd Mechanized Battalion, reaffirmed the military's commitment to peace and stability in the region.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
And troops from the Philippines and United States are fully immersed in Balikatan 2025, participating in a series of joint exercises across Zambales. The drills kicked off on April 25 with a successful gunnery exercise 21 nautical miles off the coast of San Felipe. This was part of the multilateral maritime event of the ongoing Balikatan 40-2025. The live-fire exercise saw both Philippines and U.S. forces using 50 caliber guns, with the Philippine Navy's BRP Ramon Alcaraz and BRP Apolinario Mabini taking part. The Philippine Coast Guard also contributed with its offshore patrol vessel, BRP Gabriela Silang, while the U.S. Navy's USS Savannah and USS Comstock joined the action. In the same area, BRP Jose Rizal participated in a fire drill, first aid response, and casualty evacuation exercise. The drill focused on enhancing crew readiness and coordination for maritime emergencies, with a special emphasis on fire suppression, immediate medical response, and safe evacuation procedures. Meanwhile, a subject matter expert exchange was held at the Naval Education Training and Doctrine Command in San Antonio, Zambales, wherein the exchange involved the Philippine Air Force's 960th Air and Missile Defense Group and the U.S. Marine Corps' 3rd Littoral Anti-Air Battalion, as well as the U.S. Army's 35th Air Defense Artillery. They focused on integrating U.S. air defense systems with the Philippine Air Force Spider system. On April 26, the navies of both nations conducted a division tactic drills, further improving their operational coordination for maritime operation. Joining the drills are soldiers from Japan, Australia, France, and the United Kingdom, while over 19 countries are observing the event. This year's Balikatan underscores the Philippines' ongoing shift towards territorial defense, moving away from its previous focus in internal security.
DWDD Armed Forces News. Armed Forces Radio.
For other updates, let us hear the details about Bundle of Joy reaches the Gupan Elementary School in Lalo, Cagayan during Balikatan 40-2025. Go ahead for the details, Joanne.
As part of the Balikatan Exercise 2025, Philippine and U.S. service members delivered a bundle of joy to the Gupan Elementary School in Lalo, Cagayan, providing essential school supplies and technology to support teachers and students in their mission of education. The donation included laptops, televisions, printers, and a variety of classroom materials to enhance the learning environment for students. The event began with a mass followed by student dance performances that brought the community together in celebration. Chaplains from both the Armed Forces of of the Philippines and the U.S. military delivered remarks underscoring the importance of shared values and services. U.S. Navy Chaplain Lieutenant Stephen Weathers noted that the donation not only supported classroom learning but also reflected a shared commitment to service, faith, and community partnership. The school leaders and faculty received the donation with enthusiasm and gratitude. Partnership during Balikatan isn't limited to military cooperation. It also shows up in shared acts of service in classrooms, places of worship, and community spaces where both nations come together to support and strengthen the next generation of learners. The Gupan Elementary School serves 179 students and employs 9 teachers. All will benefit from the donated supplies, enriching classroom learning and empowering both students and teachers alike. Balikatan is a long-standing annual exercise between the armed forces of the Philippines and the U.S. military that strengthens the alliance, improves combined capabilities, and demonstrates a shared commitment to regional security and stability. This is John Sagak reporting for AFP Community News 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Joanne.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
And the Philippine Fleet is ramping up its training efforts as it officially opened new career courses for enlisted sailors at Naval Base Heraclio Alano in Sangley Point, Cavite. The Fleet Training and Doctrine Centers held a convening ceremony led by FTDC Commander Rear Admiral Joa Anthony Orbe, who served as a guest of honor and speaker. A total of 133 enlisted personnel is set to undergo career courses in Butuan's Mate System Management, Quartermaster System, Radar System Management, Radioman System Management, Boatswain's Mate Advanced Specialization, Quartermaster Advanced Specialization, Radioman Advanced Specialization, and Operations Specialist Basic Specialization. These career courses are designed to enhance the technical proficiency and operational readiness of enlisted personnel within their specializations.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
And the troops from Philippine Army troops and their counterparts from the 25th Infantry Division of the U.S. Army Pacific concluded the Jungle Operations Training Course and Jungle Tracker Course at Camp Texan, San Miguel, Bulacan. The joint training is part of the 40th iteration of the Exercise Balikatan 2025, aimed at strengthening combat readiness and interoperability. One of the highlights of the event, known as the Green Mile, wherein participating troops were tested through a series of physical demanding stations, concluding with a lake swim to retrieve their course tabs. They also trained on knot tying, one rope bridges, one zip pulley system to enhance mobility, load security, and personal recovery in challenging terrain.
DWDD Armed Forces News. Armed Forces Radio.
On the other line, let us hear more from JR about Redskin troopers seize 3 high-powered firearms and 5 explosives in Maguindanao clash. JR?
Troops from the 6th Infantry Redskin Battalion seized 3 high-power firearms and 5 explosives after an encounter with 3 armed men in Barangay Pagitan 1, Sharif Saidona, Mostapa, Maguindanao del Sur. Seized items after the clash included 1 caliber 30 sniper rifle, 1 Garand rifle, 1 rocket-propelled grenade launcher, 5 rifle grenades, magazines, and ammunitions. 1st Brigade Combat Team Commander Brigadier General Jose Vladimir R. Cagara, Philippine Army, and 6th Opers Infantry Brigade Commander Brigadier General Edgar L. Catu, Philippine Army, directed all units in the area to repel escaped members of the armed group. Meanwhile, 6th Infantry Division and Joint Task Force Central Commander Major General Donald M. Kumiran, Philippine Army, lauded the troops for the quick action and successful suppressing the threat of violence against civilians. This is JR Natividad reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Thank you, JR.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
And the Philippine Air Force has officially welcomed its newest asset, the C-208B Grand Caravan X aircraft, during an acceptance, turnover, and blessing ceremony at Colonel Jesus Villamor Air Base in Pasay City. The event was led by Lieutenant General Arthur Cordura, Commanding General of the Philippine Air Force, who served as the guest of honor. This new aircraft marks the first addition to the PAF's fleet this year, strengthening the Air Force's capabilities in supporting AFP operations and national national development efforts. The C208B Caravana X was funded by the Philippine General Appropriations Act of 2023 and acquired from Servo Aero Trade Services and manufactured by Trexton Aviation in the U.S. This versatile aircraft joins 3 others in the Philippine Air Force's inventory, supporting various missions including troop transport, medical evacuations, ISR operations, and humanitarian aid.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
And the Department of the Interior and Local Government expressed confidence that the newly signed Republic Act 12177 will significantly boost the morale of frontline forces by shielding them from harassment through baseless or unwarranted lawsuits. The RA 12177 grants free legal assistance to military and uniformed personnel. The DILG said the enactment of the Free Legal Assistance for Military and Uniformed Personnel Act will allow police officers, firefighters, and jail officers to perform their duties with greater focus, security, and confidence. The agency added that they will be free from the constant fear of being tied up in expensive and time-consuming legal battles arising from the lawful performance of their work.
DWDD Armed Forces News. Armed Forces Radio.
And now let us hear a report on the ground about 7 communist terrorist group remnants killed in Kabangkalan encounter. Go on for the details, Mike.
Philippine Army troops neutralized 7 remnants of the Southwest Front, dismantled committing rebellion, Negros, Cebu, Bohol, and Siquijor, KRNCBS, in a series of armed encounters in Barangay Tapi, Kabangkalan City, Negros Occidental yesterday, April 27, 2025. A series of firefights broke out beginning at 5:30 a.m., followed by clashes at 5:35 a.m., 6:09 a.m., and 6:50 a.m., when troops from 11th, 15th, and 47th Infantry Battalions launched a focused military operation after receiving reports of CTG presence in the area. The clash resulted to the death of CTG members identified as Jhai Mijares, political instructor, political guide, Glendale Atenio Mijares, medical officer, Charity Amakan, squad leader, former secretary, Reniel Locsin Silon, squad leader and former CO, Merijin Magilat, vice squad leader, Jan Isidor Sopilanas, political instructor and medical officer. Meanwhile, the troops also received 6 M16 rifles. One of these was equipped with an M203 grenade launcher, 1 KG-9 submachine gun, and other war materials. This is Mike reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Mike.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
And for our national news,
DWDD National News.
the Bulusan volcano in Sorsogon erupted early this morning. According to FIVOX, the eruption began at 4:36 a.m. and lasted 24 minutes, ending at 5 a.m. The plume reached an estimated height of 4,500 meters and drifted west-southwest following the eruption. Ashfall has been reported in the towns of Cogon and Irosin. But despite the eruption, Bulusan remains under alert level 0 or normal.
DWDD National News.
And Congress has allocated up to 17 billion pesos for school and community-based feeding programs this year. House Committee on Appropriations member, Quezon City 4th District Representative Marvin Rillo explained that 11.8 billion was for the school-based feeding program under the Department of Education, while the 5.2 billion pesos allocation is for the Department of Social Welfare and Development's supplementary feeding program. The lawmaker noted that these feeding programs are a lifeline for children who go to bed hungry, and access to nutritious meals can mean the difference between staying in school or dropping out for many of them.
DWDD National News. Armed Forces Radio.
And we have a report coming in from LA about the 2nd Infantry Division sends off a 23rd Division Reconnaissance Company for 2025 national and local election deployment in Mindanao. Ali?
The 2nd Infantry Jungle Fighter Division sent off troops from 23rd Division Recognizes Company for 2025 national and local election deployment to Mindanao in a ceremony held at the 2ID Covered Court in Camp Kapinpin, Tanay, Rizal. The said activity was led by 2ID Assistant Division Commander Brigadier General Erwin Alea, who delivered the message of support and guidance from the Jungle Fighter Division Commander Major General Cirelo Balauro Jr. In Major General Balauro Jr.'s message, he highlighted the significance of the 23 DRC's mission and the high expectations placed on them to ensure a peaceful, secure, and orderly election. Meanwhile, officers from the 2ID conducted a detailed inspection of the troops' equipment, ensuring that each shoulder was fully prepared for deployment. This is Alali reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP, First Jungle, Philippines.
Thank you, Ali.
DWDD National News.
And Senate Majority Leader Francis Tolentino condemned China's declaration of sovereign jurisdiction over Sandy Cay in the West Philippine Sea. Tolentino said the illegal seizure of Sandy Cay by the China Coast Guard is an outrageous assault on the Philippine sovereignty. He emphasized that Sandy Cay lies within the country's territorial waters. The senator, who chairs the Senate Special Committee on Admiralty and Maritime Zones, also urged Philippine authorities to protest China's latest aggression in the West Philippine Sea.
DWDD National News.
And President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. expressed a deep sadness over the terrible incident that killed at least 9 individuals and injured others during a street festival in Vancouver, Canada. Marcos said he is completely shattered to hear about the terrible incident during a Lapu-Lapu Day block party in Vancouver. PBBM said on behalf of the Philippine government and the Filipino people, he would like to express deepest sympathies to the families of the victims and the Filipino community in Canada. The Philippine Consulate General in Vancouver is working with Canadian authorities to ensure that the incident will be thoroughly investigated.
DWDD National News. Armed Forces Radio.
And now let us hear from Junes about Armed Forces of the Philippines and US and the PACOM launch joint cyber exercise in virtual environment. Junes?
The Armed Forces of the Philippines, in partnership with the United States Indo-Pacific Command, officially launched a bilateral cyber exercise on 21 April 2025, marking another milestone in the strengthening of cyber defense cooperation between the two allies. The exercise, which will run until 9 May 2025, is being conducted in a fully virtual environment through the Deployable Cyber Range, or DCR, a platform designed to simulate real-world cyber threats and scenarios. The AFP Cyber Group and U.S. cyber units are actively participating in the joint activity. This initiative aims to bolster cyber capabilities, enhance interoperability, and promote best practices in responding to emerging digital threats. It also serves as a platform to test and validate joint cyber tactics, techniques, and procedures in a realistic but controlled setting. Observers from other Philippine government agencies are also attending the exercise, stationed at Rizal Reef Hall within the Western Command headquarters in Puerto Princesa City. They are witnessing firsthand how both nations are collaborating to safeguard national and regional industrial control system and respective command and control systems. AFP official emphasized the importance of cyber defense in today's interconnected world and underscored how international cooperation plays a crucial role in building resilient digital and critical information infrastructure. And that's the latest update. This is Private Pelayo reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Junes Pilayo. Another report from Mel Joy about Cagayan Town benefits from Balikatan Exercise 2025 Engineering Civic Action Program. Mel Joy?
Yes, Jhai, the town of Lalo in the province of Cagayan has been identified as one of the beneficiaries of the Engineering Civic Action Program under the Balikatan Exercise 2025. A multipurpose hall is currently being constructed in Barangay Dagupan, which started late March, led by the local government unit and members of the United States and Philippine forces. The 355th Aviation Engineer Wing of the Philippine Air Force and Marine Wing Support Squadron 174 of the United States Marine Corps are collaborating on the construction of the facility, expected to be completed on May 7. This initiative under the annual Balikatan exercises demonstrates the Armed Forces of the Philippines' commitment to strengthening their capabilities and fostering stronger relationships with their allied forces in support of regional security and community development. 17th Infantry Battalion Philippine Army Commanding Officer Lieutenant Colonel Ford Alcio ensures the maintenance of peace and order and guarantees the successful completion of the project. Apart from engineering civic action program, the Balikatan exercises will also include training exercises on humanitarian assistance and disaster response, as well as health engagement activities. This annual bilateral exercise between the Armed Forces of the Philippines and the United States Indo-Pacific Command aims to share expertise and best practices in various fields. This is Meljo Inesio Arroco reporting for AFP Community News, 1AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Meljoy.
DWDD National News.
Senate President Francis Escudero expressed sympathies and condolences to the family and loved ones of the victim of the attack on Filipinos in Vancouver, Canada. Escudero said the perpetrator and possible accomplices should be brought to justice and punished to the fullest extent of the law. He emphasized that there is no place in this world for such horrible acts of violence. The Senate leader then urged the Philippine consulate and other embassy officials in Canada to extend all assistance possible to the Filipino victims and their families.
DWDD National News.
And the Bureau of Immigration issued a warning against human trafficking syndicates in Cambodia after 4 Filipinos repatriated from Phnom Penh revealed that they were sold by online scam operators. The BI said the Filipinos, who are in their 20s and 30s, returned on April 19 through the assistance of the Philippine Embassy in Cambodia and the Interagency Council Against Trafficking. Initial investigations found that the victims were recruited via Facebook job postings. Upon arrival in Cambodia, their passports were seized and they were forced to work in online scam hubs. When they failed to meet quotas, they were subjected to long work hours and punishments.
DWDD National News. Armed Forces Radio.
And now let us hear from Mabel about NCRCom marks the successful conclusion of Jhai Tech's calendar year 2025. Mabes?
Yes, Jhai, good morning. NCRCom marks the successful conclusion of GTEC's calendar year 2025. The National Capital Region Command Armed Forces of the Philippines officially concluded the Joint Interagency Training and Exercise or GTEC's calendar year 2025 during a closing ceremony held at NCRCom Grandstand Camp General Emilio Aguinaldo, Quezon City on 27 April 2025. The exercise, which began on 08 March 2025, aimed to enhance readiness, integration, and interoperability among regular and reserve forces together with interagency partners, ensuring a unified, rapid, and effective response to large-scale emergencies and security contingencies within Metro Manila. The National Capital Region Command extends its deepest gratitude to the participating regular forces, their service from various reserve commands across NCR, and the instructors from partnered agencies whose professionalism, commitment, and expertise were instrumental in the successful conduct of GTEC's calendar year 2025. Their dedicated efforts reinforce the vital role of the Reserve Force and the importance of interagency collaboration in national defense, disaster resilience, and security preparedness. Through the collective efforts of all participants and stakeholders, GTEC's calendar year 2025 stands as a strong testament to the spirit of cooperation, readiness, and shared responsibility in protecting the Filipino people and strengthening national resilience. This is Mabes Omaga reporting for AFP Community News, 1AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Mabes. Another update from Jess about the 2nd Infantry Division host familiarization firing and tactical training for LPU-RTCU cadets at Camp Kapinpin, Tanay, Rizal. Jess?
Cadet officers and personnel from the Department of Military Science and Tactics Laguna Polytechnic University ROTC unit participated in a familiarization firing activity at Camp Kapinpin, Tanay Rizal on Sunday, April 27, 2025. The activity offered cadets a valuable opportunity to experience live firing exercises, explore static display, and test their skills in rope courses and rappelling, enhancing their understanding of military training, discipline, and tactical proficiency. Through guided exercises and interaction with the officers from the 2ID, participants deepened their commitment to leadership, service, and national defense. The event underscored the importance of ROTC training in developing disciplined, resilient, and service-oriented youth leaders. This is Jess from Solcom reporting for AFP Community News 1 AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Jess.
DWDD National News.
The Department of Transportation is planning to deploy additional K9 units in MRT3 stations, replacing traditional X-ray machines to help reduce long passenger lines without compromising safety. Transportation Secretary Vince Dizon personally inspected the Philippine Coast Guard's K9 facility in Clark, Pampanga. He aims to evaluate the capability of bomb-sniffing dogs and their handlers, saying they will soon be stationed in one of Metro Manila's busiest light rail systems. The DOTR chief said that this move is in line with the government's commitment to safer, faster, and more convenient public transport.
DWDD National News.
And the city of Taguig has passed an ordinance that gives registered single parents a 20% tricycle fare discount in an effort to improve social assistance for vulnerable sectors. Based on Ordinance 133, all tricycle operators are required with active city-issued franchises to give discounts to single parents who are holders of official identification cards from the City Social Welfare and Development Office. The measure is anchored on the expanded Solo Parents Welfare Act, which underscores the state's commitment to assist parents raising children on their own. Under the ordinance, the discount is available exclusively to the solo parent, whether traveling alone or accompanied by their child.
DWDD National News. Armed Forces Radio.
More updates from Leonor about 10th Infantry Division troops neutralize NPA member in Davao Oriental encounter. Leonor?
Good day everyone. Troops from 67 Infantry Aguila Battalion neutralized a New People's Army NPA member in an encounter at Secho Manawi Barangay Kaatihan, Boston, Davao Oriental yesterday, April 27, 2025. This was after residents in the area reported sighting of armed individuals believed to be remnants of the Regional Centro de Gravidad Jaguar of the Southern Mindanao Regional Committee. Aguila Division Commander Major General Alan Hambala, Philippine Army, lauded the residents for their support to the government's campaign to prevent NPA resurgence and once again called on to the remaining members of the weakened NPA groups to surrender and return to the folds of the law. Meanwhile, the 67th Infantry Battalion of the 701st Infantry Kagitingan Brigade is under the operational control OPCON of 10th Infantry Aguila Division. This is Leonor Tanap reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
And we have another update from Mark about Joint Task Force Central facilitates formal presentation of surrendered loose firearms in Maguindanao del Sur. Mark?
Yes, Jhai. The Joint Task Force Central facilitated the formal presentation of surrendered loose firearms held at the 601st Brigade Headquarters in Barangay Camasi, Ampatuan, Maguindanao del Sur. At least 40 high-powered firearms surrendered by the residents and former violent extremists were turned over by the local chief executives of Dato Abdullah Sangki, Dato Saudi Ampatuan, Sharif Agwak, Sultan sa Borongis, Mama Sapano, and Ampatuan, all of the Maguindanao del Sur. Among the weapons surrendered were 7 M14, 7.62mm rifles, 6 M16 5.56mm rifles, 5 Garand caliber 30 rifles, 2 Ultimax 5.56mm rifles, 2 Bushmaster 5.56, 2 Carbine 5.56mm, M4 rifle, and 2 improvised M79. Meanwhile, one improvised Grand Caliber 30 rifle carbine sniper rifle, improvised carbine rifle, M4 5.56mm rifle, M653 5.56mm rifle, HMG caliber 50 Barrett, 2 regular and 1 improvised, 57RR 60mm mortar, M203 grenade launcher, SMG Uzi, and improvised 12-gauge shotgun. Meanwhile, Western Mindanao Command, Commander Lieutenant General Antonio Navarrete lauded the efforts of the local government units, JTF Central and 601st Infantry Brigade in the reduction of small arms and light weapons in the province. This is Mark, reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Mark.
DWDD National News.
And for our final news, a 42-year-old man almost raked in millions of money from some desperate public utility vehicle operators with impounded units for colorum violations by posing as the chief of the Land Transportation Office. Some of the bus operators made verifications from LTO Chief Assistant Secretary Vigor Mendoza II himself, which led to the identification and arrest of the suspect. According to some of the victims, they were promised the release of their impounded units for 250,000 pesos each. The fine for colorum violation is 1 million pesos. Following the arrest, Mendoza reminded PUV operators and the public not to deal with scammers and fixers for any LTO transaction.
DWDD National News.
And that's all for today's broadcast. Thank you for joining us, especially to our audience in our Facebook page, AFP Radio DWDD. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow for more updates, same time, same station. Again, this is Jhai Simbajon for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Ito ang DWDD 1134 kHz AM. Balita, impormasyon at musika. Ito ang DWDD AFP Radio. Boses ng Kawal Pilipino.
Kayo ay nakatutok sa DWDD AFP Radio. Kami po ay kasapi ng KBP, Kapisanan ng mga Broadcaster ng Pilipinas.